Hey guys, if this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today is a DIY cauldron build, Witch's Cauldron build that we got going here. We go with a basic plastic cauldron that you can buy at any of the stores. Walmart carries them, Party City, or a couple of places that I've seen them. We'll be going over how to build the burning fires and coals effect here. We'll go over how we do the misting in here with the different color changes, how we age everything, painting everything, setting up the witch's tripod here that has the cauldron hanging from there. Before we get started, I would ask you if you could please hit that like button for me. And if you like content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you can see more content like this. Without any more hesitation, let's get into it. Today we're going to be doing another DIY. This time we're going to be working on cauldrons. So what I did was just your regular witch cauldron, black. And what I did was I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I sprayed it with this here. Let me see if you can get it in there. The hammered Rust-Oleum. It is black hammered Rust-Oleum. And as you can see, it kind of gives it a little bit more texture to it. Not as much as I really wanted, I guess. But I wanted to try something different than how it just was. It is a little bit shinier than I like too, so I'm going to do something later to address that. First, we're going to do a couple of different things here. One of the things I'm going to do is I want to do like a little texture to it. What we're going to do is we're going to add a little white paint in here into a spray bottle. I mean, you can use any white paint that you have. This is satin acrylic white. What I'm also going to do is add a little water to it. You can see I'm not going to add much water. I just want it to be a little bit watery. They have water in a spray bottle and some watered down white paint in a little spray bottle and a sponge. So spraying that up so it's wet. And then what you do is you actually spray the paint into the sponge, not onto the cauldron. So you're still a lot on there. Give you a closer look of it. How good it's picking up. Like so, I like how it looks here. This part here is still too heavy for me. So one of the cool things with it, when you're using it wet, you can wipe it right off and just kind of start over however you want. I have that on there. You can do it to however your liking is. I'm kind of liking the way that it is. Another thing to note is that is just going to be the first layer. If you do want to put in too much on there and it dries, you don't like the way it looks, you can always add more, the darker paint over it, different colors. I plan on kind of doing some rusting on it and throughout there as well, so we'll see. I'm going to let it dry, come back, and we'll take a look at that. A couple things to note: when you're using any of the sponge, you always want to make sure as you're dabbing it, you're twisting the sponge around and so that it's not getting the same exact effect. You want to make sure you're taking out, if you see streaks, you can take those out, dabbing it. Say, I'm not the best at this. I'm learning, and that's kind of what this channel is about. Trying different things. Maybe I've seen it before online, maybe I haven't seen it before. So we're gonna let that dry and we will come back. Okay, so make sure if you can see, it's pretty dried up now, and it actually is a little bit whiter than I wanted it to be. So what I'm gonna do, like I said, you can kind of readjust it. So what I'm gonna do is add a little bit more black. You can kind of see there's more black in there, breaking it up. I think I'm gonna like the way this looks, but we're gonna let it dry and then I'll come back and take a look and see. Okay, YouTube, we are back. As you can see, I did the sponge painting with the white on here and the black. You can see some spots it looks like it's a lot more white, but that is okay because we're gonna do some rusting on there and I'll kind of cover up some of that spots where I think it's a little too white. So you can kind of see, try to have it more that look. Looks more like a real cauldron kind of. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm gonna be doing some rusting on there. This is the first time I've ever done this before, so but I figured, hey, you're never gonna do it if you never go for the first try, right? So basically, we have some black paint, we have some brown, I believe it's called espresso, and orange, and then I have a little gold as well here. I kind of start here with it's just gonna kind of do a little black. Brush already has some of the brown in there from the practicing, so which is totally fine. That's how I want it to be, a mix. And I add a little brown to it. And I'm just pushing the brush in, twisting it, to kind of give it more. Let's see if you can kind of see how that's coming out there. I think it looks pretty good so far. If you can see that, I think it's looking really good. For my little bit of samples, what I notice is the orange I want to use a little more sparingly versus the other colors. I'll bring it over here so you can get a better look at how this goes. I'm going to put a little bit of the rich espresso, that kind of like bronzy, and you kind of do the same thing. You're just going to want it to be spread out enough so the colors are just muddled together. And again, with that gold espresso or whatever color, rich espresso, which kind of looks like gold to me. It's another one that I like to use more sparingly. You can see, so there's a lot there, but the more you spread it around, the more it blends in. And let's say you think it's too much orange, get a little black. And put the black in. And I'm just doing it kind of like sporadically. I'm not covering the whole thing with it. Just want to have parts of it. We'll do some more on the other side and a little bit around. So this is paprika. I got at Walmart for $1 for the whole container. And I've seen people use cinnamon before to do kind of like a little bit of rusting effect on there. So I'll put it in my hand. I want to get it in with the rest of the paint. I'm going to blow it on there. We're going to see how this comes out. If you could see that there, but that looks really good. I just put some in my hand where there's wet paint. Now it is kind of getting everywhere else too, but that's not wet paint, so it's not going to stick. Okay, so I let the rust dry overnight. You can see the effect there. Definitely am liking it a lot. Actually, I'm liking it way more than I expected to like it. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to do some oozing over effect. There's different ways you could do that. I've seen a lot of people using Great Stuff foam, which is great. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to be using Mod Podge. I added some paint to it, just kind of did a gross looking green. And then the other thing I added was just oatmeal. You need to mix it to whatever consistency you want. Use this. So let's go over here. Let's see how this goes on. So I haven't done it before, so I don't know exactly how it's going to go on. I'm guessing it's going on very messily. But in all honesty, kind of expected it to be messy. I mean, you kind of want it to be like dripping down, possibly even adding some more liquid into it so that it comes down. What I'm going to do after it dries, if you don't like the color, one thing I can say is like this oatmeal is definitely sliding further down than I wanted it to. Like on this edge here, it's actually staying, obviously, but the weight of it, you can see it sliding down. That's really not what I wanted it to do. Because I don't mind some of it sliding down, but all of it is kind of sliding down. I don't like that. Also, make sure you see it, so you can kind of see where the oatmeal is. I don't think there's enough of it. I'm just going to kind of put a little bit more on there because I want it to have a lot. What I'm probably going to do is after it dries, I'm going to go over it with some more paint. Say one thing, man, there is a lot of, I don't want to say improv, but maybe it's the right word. Yeah, improv. Doing different things than how you expected them to originally go. I'm just actually spooning it out with what I mixed it with. And I think that's working pretty decently. I don't mind if you can see that it's actually running down, but what I'm actually going for is the pot running over with the stuff which is cooking in there. So I'm going to let this dry and then I'm going to see how I like the way it looks. Definitely a messy technique. It's a little bit maybe thinner than I want it. So what I might do is add more of the oatmeal mix to it and put it on there and we'll see. But I'm going to let this dry for about an hour. Come back and check on it. Okay guys, so we are back. I have let this dry on really good, and as you can see, it's looking nice and gross the way I want, but I'm going to be doing a little dry brush on here. Honestly, you could leave it like this if you want. I think I'm going to add a little bit more texture to it. I'm going to be using a little yellow, but I don't want it to be a bright yellow, so I'm going to add a little black to it. I want it to be kind of like a gross yellow. Okay, that's what we're going for. All right, so I got a little yellow, I got a little black. I'm just going to be doing like a little dry brush on them. So you can see it's not much, but I want a little bit of color variation into it, just a little bit. And I want to just make sure you don't really see brush strokes in there. All I did was add a little bit more of this, a little bit of this green. It's almost like a limeish green though. And I'm just kind of dabbing it a little bit. Kind of like, so here it's a little bit more, here's a lot less. And there's really no right or wrong. It's just kind of how you like it. The colors I have over here, just kind of mixing a bunch of different colors, different variations of green, yellow, and black. And I'm definitely not an expert painter when it comes to this, and kind of winging a lot of it. But I just wanted to share what I was doing. And then I want to get some more yellow. I will tell you this gets kind of addictive to me. And I feel like I can just keep going and going. So I'm gonna call that good for now. We will let it dry up and check back up on it and see how it's going. Hello YouTube, so we are back on another part of the cauldron build. This is going to be, I'm not sure what you call it, but like these sticks are gonna connect here and the cauldron's gonna hang down and the fire will be underneath it. So these sticks, branches, I guess you call them, not really sticks, but they trimmed down my tree this summer. We trimmed some of it and I grabbed some of the branches out of there for a couple of projects I was working on. Right now they are connected. You can see I just used some black tape I had. It is electrical tape. I couldn't find my duct tape. And you're not gonna really see this anyway because I am gonna get some rope or twine and tie that around there that was always the intention, so that you won't even see the tape anyway. So this is a little bit, I had some satin espresso left over, and this is more of that chalk paint. I'm just gonna go over a little bit of the paint just so you can kind of see. Nothing major. I mean, I didn't want to lose the look of it being actual natural tree branches, but I wanted to cover up some of the fresher spots. And one thing I'm gonna do afterwards is I have some of my clear. Just seal it all in. It is just Rust-Oleum crystal clear enamel. Without saying, but when you're ever using spray paints, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. In my garage, I have a cold door open. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that there to dry. We'll come back and check on it. In this part of the video, we're working on the fire for the cauldron. So the first thing I did is I had a piece of plywood. I probably would want to do it a bit bigger than this, but just put this kind of on there. So you can see it's going to be up in the air, higher than that, because I'm going to have it hanging. So you figure it's going to be kind of around here, and I'm going to have that so that it kind of comes up into a little mound. You have a couple of branches that I'm going to throw in there. Just have some texture, and I'm kind of just laying them in there right now to see how I want them to look. You know, some of the bones and such. I just used a bag of bones. I've been picking them up at Lowe's, Home Depot. It's just so they got a little bit more texture in here, I would say. And I'm just kind of getting an idea where they're going to be, so that when I actually use great stuff, I think this might be the wrong one. We're going to give it a shot anyway and find out how it works. Maybe it'll be bad, maybe it'll turn out good. We're going to find out. It kind of looks all right. I do want to get a skull in here somewhere, because I think that kind of makes it. And I will probably put some stuff on the top when it's there as well. Kind of get an idea. That's gonna look. The other stuff is just gonna be for texture. Gonna paint it all. I might do a little dry brushing of some of the bones just to make them stand out. We'll see. So I'm gonna get some cardboard down around here, so if anything comes over the edge, it doesn't stick to the floor of my garage. I'm gonna get some gloves because this stuff is pretty nasty to get on your fingers. I do have some lights to go in here. So I got 2 sets of lights I'm gonna put in there. I got some orange ones and I have some red ones. Both of them have flickering options, or they can stay on solid. So I'm gonna get that stuff ready and then we will come back. Okay, so just real quick, I kind of got everything ready to go. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray the foam down, then I'm gonna put the lights in, and then we will put some more foam over that, and then I will start adding some of the pieces in there. So let's hope this all works out right. We're almost out of this one. I think this stuff never goes as far as you want it to go. It will expand.
I'm gonna let it start to expand just a little bit. Using a plug, I want to make sure the plug doesn't get in there. Should be fine, I believe. Just where they're not spreading out, I'm just jamming it in there a little bit more. Let's do this. So I already have another one ready. So it's 2 cans in there now. Let's do a nice log in there. Let's go. You can see it's why you wear the gloves. I only had 1 glove. I literally ran out. So let's throw that in there. Let's do the spine cord. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let it foam up, expand, and then we'll come back. I do have some more of the great stuff that I can add on to there before we start doing the painting and such. Because it definitely, I feel like it might need a little bit more. Yeah, so definitely there's a lot more lights hanging out than I thought there would be. So we'll see once it expands how it all looks. Welcome back to the next part of the cauldron build. We're working on the ash pile, coals. Been a couple hours. Straight up. I added a little bit more in some spots where I felt like it needed it. I'm using some flat black, and then I also have some matte gray kind of in there, and then I also might be doing a little bit of red. So with these 3 colors, the red mainly be if you're gonna plan on people seeing it in the regular light. So I'm trying not to go too crazy on the actual color. I figure if I want to, I will go over more later. Mainly, just want to get most of it dark, and we'll see. So I don't know how good it's picking it up on there. But that is the first coat on there. Okay, YouTube, so we are on another part of the cauldron build. So as you can see, it's completely painted. I got it the way I want it to look. Got the rust look on there. Got the oozing over grossness and everything like that. So the next thing I want to do is we want to get a fog effect in there. So I'm going to be using a fog mister. And it doesn't require a lot of water, so I don't want it to be the full thing filled with water. Plus that's going to make it really heavy and make it harder to hang. So what I want to do is just have like something in the top right here so that I can fill it up. So I tried a couple different things. The best thing I came up with, I had this flower pot that I had in my backyard, and I set that in there. And then this is a tray from a flower pot. On the bottom they catch the water, and it fits in there almost perfectly. Not quite perfect. Get you a look here so you can see it's a little bit on the edge. I'm not sure if that's going to cause a problem, because fog mister might have it come over here. So if that is the case, I might seal it with some kind of a tape. But what I'm going to do right now is I want to glue this all in place so that it's going to be sturdier. So what I'm going to use is this Gorilla Glue, and I want to clean off. I cleaned the inside of the cauldron already, but I want to clean off the bottom of the flower pot. This was actually a flower pot that I was just in the backyard, so it's definitely dirty. Just so that the glue will stick to it a bit better. I mean, you can come up with a lot of different things in there. It just I had this, it gets it to the height that I want, and I like the look of it, so we're just gonna go with that. So I'm gonna be using Gorilla Glue. I'm gonna put it on the bottom of the cauldron and the bottom of this. Then I'm gonna put it on the rim of this and set that on top of it, and then I'm gonna put some weight on top of it. And I'm just gonna leave it overnight to dry. Okay guys, so I have the flower pot in there, and I have the flower pot base there. You can see it's glued in. You can pick it up from just holding on the flower pot. And they're good. So I gotta drill the holes in there so that we can attach the chains to the tripod so it will be hanging. I really wish I would have done it, thought about that and drilled the holes before, but I didn't, so we're gonna drill them after. What I plan on doing is when I put the chain near the pot, I'm gonna zip tie it to there so that if I wanna take it off, I can just cut the zip tie off. At this point, I just wanna have it in 3 spots that are like a triangle because I want the weight to be distributed so it's not hanging crookedly. So I have the 3 holes in there. We're good on that part, so I'm gonna bring it over to the tripod and hang it with the chains. Okay, YouTubes, so I am now going to be adding the fog misting effect in order to make it look like there's a witch potion brewing here. So we're going to be using plain water, and we're going to be using this here. It is a ultrasonic mister. I did order this on Amazon. It was about 12 bucks. So I've got the ultrasonic mister in there. I'm just going to add some water now. You can see the misting fogging effect. It does have a little bubbling up. I probably actually would like to throw another one in there. And as you can see, I do think I'm going to have to put something along here to close that gap up so that the fog doesn't, the mist, fog, whatever you call it, doesn't go down there and fill up the bucket. But you run there pretty good. So I'm going to do, turn off the lights, set up the coal bed down there, and we'll get a better look of it. Okay guys, so this is the Witch's Cauldron. It's on the tripod stand with the burning coals underneath it. How it all looks set up. Okay guys, so this is the finished product with the cauldron build. I definitely think I would like to put some more light hitting it so you can see. I'm not sure if you can pick it up on the camera. It's a little bit dark right there in that area, but you do see the burning coals down there. You can see the cauldron has like the color changing light in there from the mister. You can pick up some of the details on there. A couple of takeaways from this. I definitely would probably not use the tripod if I was gonna start over again. And just put it directly in the coals. Overall, I really am happy with the build, the way it looks, and I hope you appreciate all the work that went into making it. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button for me. If you'd like to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to see different kinds of stuff, if you have any ideas and stuff that you'd like to see me work on, I'd love to hear comments, feedback on things, any constructive criticism. If you've built a cauldron, I know a lot of people love cauldrons, love witches for Halloween, so I'd like to hear that, what kind of things you've done for it before. But overall, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
This video's over, but I know you want to see more. First thing you got to do is hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing. Then watch my newest video here, or one YouTube recommends right there. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.